This presentation will be on a behavior change procedure using gross motor imitation. Breaking down gross motor imitation, we have the word imitation, which is defined in the Cooper book as a behavior controlled by any physical movement that serves as a novel model excluding vocal verbal behavior, has formal similarity with the model, and immediately follows the occurrence of the model. An imitative behavior is a new behavior emitted following a novel antecedent event. From the time of infancy, the way that individuals learn is by imitating their parents or guardians. They will see others trying to do something and mimic or imitate what they see others doing. Imitation in individuals with ASD. There is a broad consensus from both parents and doctors of children with ASD that the ability to imitate the actions of other people represents a large deficit for children with autism. In a study performed by McDuffie, Turner, Stone, Yoder, Wallery, and Ullman, impaired motor imitation is observed as early as 20 months of age in children who are later diagnosed with autism and, despite some improvements with development, may represent a specific and primary deficit for individuals in this population. So before the age of 2, parents are able to notice delays in children with ASD that includes difficulty in motor imitation of others. Teaching using imitation and its importance in child development. Imitation, the ability to learn and replicate others' responses and knowledge, is essential to cognition and development. Its importance is evidenced by the fact that imitation has been used to assess everything from learning and memory to causal and statistical reasoning to social development and behavior. Imitation has also been instrumental in treating cognitive and linguistic deficits in special populations with developmental disorders, such as individuals with autism. Introducing the behavior change procedure. The procedure is designed to teach an individual to independently produce gross motor movements. The scales will mimic that of a shower routine, so the procedure can be generalized to the shower and practiced in a classroom environment. Once mastered in the classroom, the procedure can be moved to the shower for the client. Introducing the methods that were used to complete the gross motor imitation procedure. First, we have the materials. The materials used were edible reinforcers and the data sheet that will be displayed in an upcoming slide. The procedure used was to first establish attention of the client by telling them, "Show me ready." Prompt the client by giving them the SD, "Do this," and pairing this with a physical model for the client. Use least to most physical prompting. Continuing the methods used, we have the error correction procedure. For the error correction procedure, if the client is to make an error, represent the SD, "Do this," and use least to most prompting to provide the client with an errorless learning environment. Record the initial response of the client and move to the next trial. For prompting, adjust prompts as needed. Prompt levels are at a prescribed level from least to most. Independent, gesture, light physical, and full physical level. If a client displays 80% or better on 3 consecutive sessions, decrease the prompt level. If the client achieves less than 80% on 2 consecutive sessions, increase the prompt level. Next, for the methods section, we have the reinforcement system used and criteria for mastery for the client. First, the reinforcement used was when the client displays the appropriate response at his prescribed prompt level, deliver edible reinforcers paired with verbal praise. Next, criteria for mastery is when the client will display at least 80% independence in 3 consecutive sessions across 2 different environments, both the classroom and eventually to be generalized to the shower. Finally, for the methods section, we have the data collection procedure that will be used on the data sheet. For data collection, record the most intrusive prompt used on each step. prompt levels will be from least to most: independent, gesture, light physical, and full physical. Next are the results from the gross motor imitation program. The first 3 sessions were used to record baseline data for the client, where he was able to complete one of the 6 steps independently. With the baseline data stable for the 3 sessions, the technician was able to begin to use least to most prompting to help the client complete the procedure. In the 4th and 5th sessions, the client made progress to be able to complete 2 of the 6 steps independently. On the final session, the client reverted back to baseline, completing one of the 6 steps for the gross motor imitation procedure correctly. Here is a graph of the data where it shows a stable baseline established, an initial progress from 16 to 33% independence for the client. In a short period of time, the client was able to make progress, but did revert back to baseline on the last session. Concluding the results of the gross motor imitation program, at the initial implementation of the gross motor imitation program, the client was able to complete the program with 16% independence. After 3 sessions, the client was able to complete the program with 33% independence. The use of least to most prompting allowed for the child to learn in an errorless manner while giving the learner an opportunity to learn by imitating their instructor. Last, there was this discussion of the gross motor imitation program. It was hypothesized that by implementing the gross motor imitation procedure, the client could begin to progress toward learning a showering procedure. Least to most prompting allows the client to be exposed to the entire procedure, which in turn should allow the client to make independent progress more quickly. As seen in the line graph, the client was able to make progress from 16% independence to 33% independence in the gross motor imitation program. While the client was able to make progress after a short period of time, they did return back to the baseline level of 16% on their final session. For this client in particular, it is crucial to gain the attention of the learner. Edible reinforcers are the primary motivator for this client. In the future, I would like to perform a preference assessment for the client in order to find motivators that will be more potent for them in future testing. I believe that by gaining attention of the individual with more potent reinforcers in the future, the client could begin to make more ample progress with the gross motor implementation procedure. Here are the references for this slideshow, and that is the conclusion of this presentation. Thank you for watching.